Hello everyone, it's Criticorn with another Enlisted video. In today's video I'm going to be helping out all of you newer players who are just starting out Enlisted and don't know how to navigate around this very confusing game menu. Even up to today, after 2 weeks of playing this game, I still forget where a button is. Not sure where to click, so it's not you. It is a little complicated. That's why I wanted to make this video and help you out. If you are somewhat of a vetted or experienced player, this video probably isn't going to be for you. I'm also going to be skipping a couple of things, such as how to break down weapons and craft them, or go to the academy and fuse your troops together. I've got to skip that because this video is going to be a little lengthy in itself. Won't fit in this video. I'll make it in a separate video to help you out once you're a little bit more vetted in the game. So let's get started, shall we? On the bottom right hand side we have a start button, pretty self-explanatory, but if we want to click on the button above it, game mode. We have squads and lone fighter. Squads, you're going to have an AI squad backing you up, running around the battlefield, as will everybody else. So when you are killing players, you might be taking out their squad member, not the player themselves directly. Still really effective on the battlefield. Squads also share experience, so if they get a kill, you gain experience for that. If you are not interested in fighting against AI and players and just want to go against players only, Lone Fighter would be for you. They're both equally as fun. I think you gain a little bit more experience in Squadrons, and Squadrons seems to be the main style of gameplay. But I don't have any problem with matchmaking. There's no game population differentiation as I've noticed yet, so enjoy either one. It's at your disposal. On the left-hand side over here, we have our different squadrons to choose from. These little insignias down here, you'll get used to eventually. The bullet stands for trooper. That insignia, sniper. This one, assault class, and that, a tank. Pretty easy, self-explanatory. If we click on these little buttons down below here, we can manage our squadrons and decide which ones we start with when we begin our match. As you can see, I've unlocked a fighter squadron and an engineering squadron. If I wanted to change them out, I simply click and drag, and that is that. Pretty easy, pretty simple. If you want to pay for premium, you can unlock 2 extra slots. And keep in mind, guys, you always have to have a vehicle in your build out. You are not allowed to have only infantry. So it will alert you, it'll tell you you have to, or you only can have 3 infantry, sorry. So you can stick a vehicle there. Don't worry, if you're not a vehicle player, you're not interested in the tank or the airplane, the battle at one point will not force you to be the vehicle. You will always be able to choose at least 1 infantry squadron to respawn in with. Over here we have other insignias that signify how many troops we have in our squad or are allowed to put in our squad. I'm allowed to put 1 radio operator in here, and I can have up to 7 troopers. That's going to be different for each squad. As you can see, I have 3 snipers and 1 trooper. Troopers cannot be equipped with sniper weapons, so keep that in mind. That's why the classes are distinguished as such. You may notice little stars down here. I'll be going over this in another video, but this is the level of soldier that we have here. When they're maxed out, you can fuse them together, take them to the academy, and level them up. But I'll be covering that in more detail in another video. If I click on my top squadron member here, this is who I'm going to be starting out as when I start my match. So this is the equipment you want to generally have on your main soldier when you begin the game. As you can see, I have a small ammo pouch, I have a smoke grenade, a med kit. These are all very effective. I have a really good carbine. It's max leveled right there, which is pretty nice. I got lucky on a roll. But if I wanted to change out the weapon to, say, this Springfield over here, I just simply click and drag, and it changes the weapon out. Pretty easy, pretty simple. As you can see, there's a little logo here that signifies that only assault class troops can use the M1 carbine. If I wanted to change out my gear, same deal, just simply click on the gear. I am going to go into a random branch here and say that this is the more important slot that you need to unlock. This is called the backpack slot, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment, but just keep in mind, if you want to carry extra ammo, this slot's going to be locked on squadrons that have not leveled up yet. So when you level up your squadron, you put some points in the tree and you unlock backpack, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But once you do unlock it, you go and purchase a small ammo pouch, then you deposit it here. There are bigger ammo pouches that you can unlock later, but as you can see here, it will give me a minimum of 1 clip or 10% ammo. Pretty nice, and I gotta say, guys, ammo in this game goes quick, especially my snipers. I've run out of ammo. You only start out with 20-25 bullets, I believe, so that extra clip makes all the difference. I really do enjoy that, by the way. If I can go on a little rant here, I love that ammo is not abundant like in Call of Duty. The first Call of Duty, you could spray 300-400 rounds and you never had to worry about running out of ammo because you could run over some fallen comrades and pick up their ammo too. It's really hard in this game actually to acquire more ammo. You can pick up other weapons, but if it's the same weapon, they share ammo. If it's a different weapon, then yeah, you get a couple extra magazines, but it's really fun that there's an ammo limitation, especially as a sniper. I'm not shooting every target I see. If I see a running target, I'm not going to fire because I know I'm most likely going to miss. I'm going to wait for that target to go stationary or prone and then take my shot. So sorry, I had to go on that little rant there. I hope you don't mind me sharing my little 2 cents there. So now that we understand how troops work and how you can change out your gear, you are going to also have this other tab over here, which is perks. There will be a little indicator such as this little green arrow here. You click on that and it'll say choose a new perk. These are random. You get 3 random rolls here. You choose one, and I'm just going to say right now, guys, do not worry about what you pick. You are going to get to re-roll these guys when you level them up. So unless you get a level 6 soldier right off the bat, I don't even know how you would get that. Level 5, level 6, whatever the cap is. That's when you would want to understand perks. So up until then, do not worry. Every time a soldier levels up, the perks get re-rolled. So I'm going to make another video and go into further detail about that. So I hope you can forgive me while I don't go into too many of the basics, but there is a button down here that says list of perks. If you are curious about what perks you have available to you, you can click on that and review them. So that is pretty much it for troopers. Now that you understand your troops, how to organize them, we need to go into something that's a little more confusing, and that is who you want to play as. As you can see here, I can play as Allied or Axis, and that seems like it's pretty simple, but I didn't know this until a couple of weeks later. This is a button over here, Invasion of Normandy. Invasion of Normandy is where you play the game on the beachheads, attacking the French coastlines. I didn't know that there was a Battle of Moscow, and if I click on that, you may notice that these Germans, well, I don't know if it was very easy to catch, but they are a different level, which means that if I level up Germans in the Invasion of Normandy, that does not carry over to the Russian invasion. So keep that in mind, guys. Every single faction you play, even if it's the exact same, like the Germans, for instance, none of this carries over. So keep in mind, when you pick a squadron to start playing with and leveling up and investing in, you're going to want to stick with them. Now, this is beta, so don't worry too much about that. But once this game begins, definitely pick 1 or 2 different countries and stick with them. You're not going to be able to distribute all that experience and especially all the currency, which is somewhat on the rarer side. So keep that in mind. I'll go into this in a little bit at the end of the video. So just keep in mind, guys, if you do want to change your gameplay and maps, this has about 4 or 5 maps on it. Really fun, different types of playstyles on each map, so it keeps it fresh and exciting. I didn't even know this existed until recently. And then we're going to look at this. We're going to get more maps and more different battles. Eventually the Japanese are going to come into play in the Pacific War. So it's really fun that they have all these different choices, but unfortunately you are screwed because you really can only level up 1 or 2 countries at most. Now, keep in mind, it's still really fun to play a basic stock country. Basic weapons with no upgrades whatsoever is still really fun. The weapons are still really powerful and do a lot of damage. So don't worry too much about that. If you do want to try out the other maps, you're not going to be screwed. You're just not going to have all the big toys like a flamethrower or a mortar that some other players have who are a little more committed. Now that you understand that, let's switch over to campaign. This is a really poorly worded tab. Do you know what campaign stands for? Nope, not single player, although it should. This stands for your level. So why it says campaign, I don't know. It confuses the heck out of me every time I see it. But understand, campaign equals level, guys. This is the level that you are. And as you can see, as you keep playing the game continuously, you will unlock more squadrons, more vehicles, better weapons, the carbine. A lot of fun. Really happy I unlocked that. And I'm having a blast. I only play a few matches a day. I'm not a hardcore grinder yet. I will eventually, but as you can see, if you level up more, you're going to get better tanks, better planes, and of course really fun guns like the shotgun, and of course this is the favorite amongst all the American players, the Browning machine gun. So keep playing that game. It doesn't seem very hard to level up. It's really fun, and it's not, while it might be maybe a little grindy per se, it's still fun playing each and every match. There's no match that I play where I'm like, darn, I wish I had that Browning. It's fun playing with these stock weapons. I have a great time. A lot of strategy on my part, your creative strategy, is what makes the game fun. So when you play out your strategies and work the battlefield the way you do and you become this really effective force to deal with, it doesn't really matter what kind of gun I have. It's all about the brain power. So that's how campaign works. Campaign is basically your level. And understand again, guys, if you are playing Access and I were to switch over to the Russian front, it's going to start all over again. So every time you click on campaign, that's a different level. You have to unlock those features separately. So that's how those two tabs work. Now, upgrades, I am going to go a little bit into here. This is where you upgrade your squadron or your personal loadout. So as you can see, squad over here, I can make my squad earn more experience. And when they earn more experience, you get to get more points and level up quicker. Pretty easy math-wise, right? And as you click, you can increase the size of the squad. You can also customize and decide what kind of soldier you want to add to it. Do you want to add an engineer? Would you want to add a radio operator or a sniper? It's going to be different also for each class. As you can see, the tree looks a little different here on the trooper class than it did on the sniper class. So keep that in mind. The trees will look a little differently. I kind of screwed up here. I wanted a sniper in my trooper class and I didn't pick it. I picked radio operator thinking trooper was down here below, and it's not. It's actually a mortarman. That's okay. I don't mind, honestly. It's nothing critical. This isn't a game where you're gonna grind 8 years of your life away and then really wish you could go back and fix something you screwed up on. This game will let you re-roll and reset if need be. You just have to pay a little more money for it. But don't worry, we're still in beta. There's no mess ups right now in beta. Everything's gonna be reset later. If we go over to personal, this is where your experience is going to go towards your campaign/level. This experience is just as equally important because you want to unlock better troops, better guns, or some other toy that you're really looking forward to. Particularly for me, the mortar. I really want to unlock the mortar because I love artillery. So this is where you would go to, as you can see, increase the experience earned per battle. But you will also see that they're unlocking higher level soldiers, but this is where you would unlock the backpack that I was talking about earlier. This is where you unlock the backpack and you can add extra ammo. Very important. I suggest go for it first. As you can see, I've barely started playing this game. You get these points quick. Don't worry. This is not like a 2-3 week ordeal where I worked my way all the way down the tree. Normally playing games, that's how it would go. That's not the case here. So pretty easy, self-explanatory. Unlock this as soon as possible to get that backpack slot and carry some extra ammunition if you so choose. The workshop, you can put points here. One YouTuber was recommending it. This is where you can upgrade guns, break down guns, get more extra parts from them, cost less resources to upgrade them, higher level of crafting. This I'm going to be making a separate video for altogether, as I still don't really quite understand it myself, and I don't see it as a priority. Like I showed you earlier, I have a tier 4 M1 carbine, and I'm not too worried about any other weapon right now. There's no gun that I really want to upgrade. Also keep in mind, guys, when you max upgrade weapons, the performance of that weapon is roughly 20 to 25%. So that while that may seem like a lot, other weapons it was like 15-20%. So the performance of that weapon is only going to be boosted by a quarter at max. So don't really stress about it. If you really want that extra quarter performance, go for it. You're going to have to learn about this from somebody else because I still haven't played all the factions and looked at all the weapons yet. So I don't want to make any judgments yet, but I would recommend you do unlock the ammo. So that's how that tab works right there. If you click on logistics, this is where you would purchase all of the equipment, weapons, and troops. This is where currency comes into play. As you can see, it's called Order of Weaponry and Order of Troops. This is where you purchase equipment for these two tabs here, and this is the troops, where you would go and purchase extra troops. Gold is earned very rarely. You're only going to earn about 1, 2, 3 of these in a season. I see right now, I think it's 30 or 40 days. Once you get one of these, yes, you can purchase one of these weapons, but don't worry about it. They're really fun guns. They're really exciting, but really rare much later in the late game. So don't worry about pushing for that right now. If we look over at equipment, this is where you purchase that ammo pouch. It costs one of those copper orders right there. These are really easy to obtain. Remember, grenades are going to cost 2. Don't let that blindside you. You can run out of this fast. I am using this sparingly because remember, this currency transfers between all factions, which I'm not really too thrilled about. It's not really that fair to me that the Allies, the access on just the invasion of Normandy and all of the other maps share the same currency. I think they either need to give us a couple more of these or they need to allow us to do the dailies on each country separately. That's not the case right now though, and you know what? I'm still enjoying the game. It's not even a gripe. I'm just mentioning that it's kind of an eek, kind of a little jab right there, but it hasn't really bothered me that much yet. I really am still enjoying the game as it is. So just keep that in mind. Use this sparingly. I'm really only working on my Americans right now, and I haven't even bought a lot of them equipment, just my main. I ignore the rest of my troops. I don't give every single soldier a grenade because that will add up fast. So try not to spend that money too much. If you do want to purchase weaponry, this is going to tie into a couple of different things here. If you want to purchase a weapon flat out, remember which weapon goes to which class. Don't get distracted. Such as the Springfield rifle, as you can see, if I hover my mouse over the gun, we have that little sniper insignia logo. So keep that in mind. As you can see, that's a trooper, that's an assault class. So just hover your mouse over the weapon to confirm and make sure you know what you're purchasing. I think the Liam goes to, oh yes, just the trooper there. So this is going to cost a silver. And as you can see, I do have a few silver order of weaponries there, so I could purchase a few of these from my different squadrons. I just haven't got into it yet. I'm really happy with the default weapons. I really don't see the need, but I will start purchasing weapons and upgrading my squad members eventually with better weaponry. If you, however, run out of these, you can go and get a random weapon drop. As you can see here, if I spend one of the copper ones, I can get a random weapon drop. Not sure what you're going to get or what level, but I do want to mention this gets bigger over time. As you can see in the campaign mode, I unlocked the, see, I can't even click on this. If you want to drag this, by the way, I'm clicking on this bar here. You can't drag it down here. That's kind of annoying, but just keep that in mind. This is how you drag this thing. Sorry, I'm rambling. But as you can see, I unlocked the M1 carbine. Really fun gun. That carbine was in the weapons pool, but when you first start out in the game, it's not going to be there. The carbine will not be in this pool. So I'm kind of saving these until I unlock a couple of more weapons, so I increase my chances of getting a better gun. That's just my own personal play preference. So keep that in mind when you first start out. I think it's like 3 guns you can pull from. So I wouldn't just start pulling these right off the bat. Save your money, be a little patient, unlock a couple of levels first, then purchase it. This is also where you can purchase extra parts for your planes and tanks if you want to upgrade them and you get into that. I'll probably make a separate video if I understand that better, but for the time being, I would just save those points for weaponry. And if we click over here, this is where we purchase more troops. This is really important because you are going to be upgrading your squadrons relatively quickly, and you definitely want to add more troopers to the squad. It makes them more effective, you get more experience, and this is where you level up troopers as well. Or this is where you purchase more troops so you can then level them up. Sorry about that. Same deal here. This is where you get random soldiers. You know, at level 6, I unlock a flamethrower. At level 7, I get a radio operator. These are the ones that call in artillery strikes, and then a mortar man at level 13. So until you unlock those guys in the campaign section, you can't get those guys. So again, I'm saving this. I'm not really rolling for a bunch of soldiers. I am, however, purchasing a lot. And as you can see, I've gone through a lot. I've only been investing in Americans, and I'm almost out. So keep that in mind. I said you could really play with only 2 different countries. Honestly, you could really only invest in one flat out if you wanted to. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm only invested in the Americans on the invasion of Normandy. So this is where you buy regular troopers, snipers, assaulters. The level of weapon that they become is random. Also, keep in mind, if you can see here, tankers and pilots, I think this is a big waste of money. Don't buy extra pilots and don't buy extra tankers unless you really, that's the only thing you want to play, and you want to grind them out, level them up, and get a tier 5 tanker who has better perks. You might be able to roll a good perk that gives them extra reload speed or something on that level. So unless you're going to probably pay a little bit of money and invest heavily in that, you don't need to buy these guys. You're also going to get them randomly right here. So, and don't worry, if you get a random tanker or pilot, you can fuse them together and get a better performing soldier out of it. So it's not a big waste of money if you get a random one in the pool here. But yes, this is where you purchase your troops. It's going to be a random level, what they are. It can be 1 through 3 or 4, I believe. It's until you unlock in the upgrades the higher tier that you could potentially get, you know, a tier 4 or a tier 5 or 6. So keep that in mind, guys. The Academy, I am going to go over in another video, so don't worry about this right now, guys. If you do want to check it out, there are other YouTubers that will have it. I will have it at the end of my video once I make it. So that's pretty much it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this was a little more on the lengthy video, but now I hope you have a little bit better of an understanding of how to begin and navigate your first match and what to do afterwards. I will be making more Enlisted guides for you to help you further your knowledge in this game, so bear with me while I learn that myself. We'll learn this together. So I hope you have fun in this game, guys, and enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend, and I'll talk to you later.